Hello, good morning, good afternoon. I was almost about to say that was so smooth and professional, but I couldn't hit the pause button in time, and the next tune just crept in there. But anyway, cheers to Savage Paddy and Soft Knees. We've already got on the stream. Cheers, guys. Yeah, please do, if you can, guys, let me know if the mic is coming through loud and clear. Hopefully, it is today. And whilst I wait for that confirmation, if one of you could just post it to say if you can hear me all right. Whilst we wait for that confirmation, what we're doing today, well, it's the AMS2CC. We've had the prologue, the test event, and today we are tuned in, hopefully you're tuned in, to see who gets assigned to what server for round one. Cheers, Paddy, for confirming the audio is all right. So yeah, round one is the Ultima Race GTR, or the Ultima GTR Race Edition. It is going to be at Termas De Rio Hondo, which is a very wide track. Some of you may not have raced at that before, but it's a very wide track, so it does lend itself to the powerful big cars. Squeezing several of them side by side shouldn't be a problem. It is a combo courtesy of Nomads Racing Team, so check them out, nlt.justrace.net for all their races. Really good group of community of racers, as are all the teams in the AMS2CC. And yeah, it's going to have some interesting weather. They've used real weather, but it has been tested, and there is a practice server up and running for you to test out. And that practice server, it's not using identical weather settings, but it's using similar, so even without testing the actual race date, you'll have an idea of what to expect. Anyway, enough of my waffle. Let's roll that intro little movie, and then we'll get on to the process of actually assigning the drivers to the servers. Should only take a couple of minutes. Okay, right, there we go. Beautiful Google spreadsheet. That's what you've got in front of you. So something I've learned from doing this selection for round one is that every time I load a document, it's a randomised draw, obviously, and that's done by a spreadsheet function. And every time I load the document, it re-randomizes. So in order to be able to save what the random draw was and not have to refer back to my own live stream, it's a good job I live streamed the prologue, or I would have lost all the information. So in order to ensure we save that, we will be copying the output and then pasting it straight back in over the top of the function. So we'll be copying the text, pasting the text over itself, and that should mean it's no longer randomized every time I load that document. Anyway, so at the top here you can see all the teams. We've got 10 tenths with their drivers. 2 reserves, so that's nice, 1 10 tenths. MSU, we do have a reserve driver, but at the moment we have assigned them to race for Slipstream. You'll see that in a second. Slipstream are down on the driver. We do have 2 fully independent drivers. That is, I'm trying to remember who they are. They are Neon Dream, of course, forgot Neon Dream, and Fabry Towers. Here we can see the independents there. So I've contacted those, and if one of those is happy to race Slipstream, then they will take the place of the AMSU driver. But every year we do the same thing: spare drivers, reserve drivers, or independent drivers. If a team is short, they can race for that team. So that's why Lausanne, AMSU driver, highlighted in red, is volunteering at the moment to race for Slipstream. So let's quickly scan through the other drivers. Again, this is just so it's on the stream in case I've made any mistakes. You can see there was a genuine mistake. So we've copied these off the nominated drivers list. So MSU drivers there. Club 50, they've got 4 drivers. KCSR, 4 once again. MVRC, they've got a reserve. That's Savage Paddy in the stream. Savage should definitely get a place on track. 64 slots on the track. 2 taken by the broadcasters, leaving 62 slots for drivers, and we have 56 drivers nominated, including all the reserves and all the independents, so loads of space there. Nomads Racing Team, top job, big community there, able to field 7 drivers in total. Again, Badosh, Chris and Tony, you'll all get a place on track. RPM with 4 drivers, RRC with their 4, SRGP once again with 4, as has SSR. Slipstream are unfortunately only able to get 3 this time, but Lausanne's stepping in as we've already explained. And then the Racing Engineers, they've got 4 drivers as well, and the final 2 independents, Fabry Towers and Jim. So all the reserves and the independents get combined into a block here at the end, and they are all allocated to the spare spaces, which, as I say, we have enough of. So when I click, fail scroll, there we go. When I click this little chat box at the top, it will randomise. So this is not the draw. We'll just confirm it's working. We'll click it now. There we go. You can see it randomly does a server 1 or server 2, 2 of each, and that is completely random. So let's undo it and redo it again, and you can see it's different from the last one. It's only 2 options, so it can't be massively different, but yes. The only 2 that are not fully randomised are myself and Roy. We are always the hosts because they are our servers, so we have very, very good connections. Server 1 is run by me, server 2 is run by my colleague Roy. So we are always assigned myself to server 1 and Roy to server 2. And again, we highlight that and the information down there to show you that is the one with hosts and 2 that they are not random. Okay, so on this click it is the real deal. Try to contain your excitement. Here we go. Let's see who's assigned to which server. Right, as I say, first what we're going to do is we're going to select all of this. We're going to press Ctrl-C to copy it, and then we're going to click it and press Ctrl-Shift-V, which should now mean it's pasted in as text, and that won't be re-randomised if we do the draw when I load the document. So again, the broadcaster, we're going to have Jonas on server 1, he was for the prologue, and Quarto on server 2. We might have an additional team on server 1. Sim Racing Guy is a YouTuber who is interested in taking part, but I haven't heard it from him for the last 10 days or so, so not sure what's happening there. But yeah, so then the actual drivers. Over 10 tenths on server 1 got Linus and Redacted. And joining him on server 1 for AMSU is myself and Pavel. Club 50 on server 1, I've got Uwe and Steve Kenwood. KCR on server 1, Bruce and Johnny. MVRC, S2000 and Slayer. And then for server 1, racing for NRT is Tinez and Nessie. Rocco and Fancy Jake race for RPM. Danielle and Mauro for RRC. SRGP on server 1 will be Andy and Alpha Signal. SSR, Dicker and KR, or Dustin. Slipstream, I've got Jakob, and then the reserve driver, Lazan, MSU driver, as I said, will be racing for Slipstream, and then the racing engineers, Grumpy and Harry, are racing for them. The independents, Badosh, Tony, Fabi, and Neon have all been assigned to server 1. Then for server 2, we've got Prue and Lagslog racing for 10T, Grandpa and Frano racing for MSU, Chris Bloom and Pedro for Club 50, Tex and Glenn racing for KCSR, Pete and Minimus for MVRC, Noodle and Andy Moore for NRT. Then we've got the host Roy for RPM, joined by Raptor, his teammate. RRC, we've got Michelle and Mattia, SRGP, Carapower and Ricky, Statue and Kefalor for SSR, Bill and Laurie for Slipstream. For the racing engineers, we've got Dundun Gizmo and Tom Goodrich. Finally, the reserves and the independents, so we've got Dazads, Savage Paddy, you're on server 2, Blue Fear, and Chris. Okay, let need to go away and have a sit down, have a rest and a cup of tea, guys. Don't know how you contained yourselves with all that excitement. But yes, the streams aren't superbly exciting, as I'm sarcastically suggesting. But yeah, it's here so you can prove it, so I can demonstrate it's all random. And also, as I say, when I don't realise that it re-randomises every time I load the document, then at least I can refer back to the stream to see what happened. Right, guys. There's two more things to do, so I will be opening up the registration on Just Race shortly, and there'll be a post tagging everybody when that happens, and I'll also be making a post detailing all this information, so you don't have to refer back to the live stream. It'll be a post on Discord. Finally, this year, you might have forgotten, because it's the first year we're doing it, there are 2 divisions in the Drivers' Championship. So very quick recap, it is primarily, excuse me, coughing down the mic there. It is primarily a team championship or a community championship, so that is a primary purpose of the AMS2CC. But of course, there is a drivers' championship tagged on as well. Now, with so many drivers, it was suggested after last year that maybe we split the drivers' championship into 2 divisions so that more people can be competing to be at the top of their division. So, when does that happen? How do you find out what division you're racing in, and what's the whole malarkey to these divisions? So, once most people have registered to the event, I'll be able to get everybody's Just Race rating data. This is how you compare to other drivers in Just Race. Providing you have raced or driven in more than 3 qualifying events in all your history on Just Race, then you will have a Just Race rating. So I will get everybody's Just Race rating, put them into a spreadsheet, and work out what the middle value is. Those above that middle value will go to Division 1. Those below it will go to Division 2. But hold on, I hear you say, what if you've never or haven't yet driven 3 races on the Just Race system that qualify for the ranking system? Well, if that's the case, you won't have a rating score, and so I won't assign you to a division yet. As soon as that occurs, as soon as you get your 3 races in, depending on what your rating data is, that will be what division decide what division you get assigned to. So as soon as you get that rating information, you'll be assigned a division. Question you might ask is, can you move between divisions? The answer is no, not within the season at least. In 2026, if AMS2CC runs again, then if we do use divisions again, if it works well, then you'll be assigned a new division. But we don't want to kind of have transfers within the championship, as it were, from Division 2 to Division 1, because you might be excited about maybe competing for the top spots in Division 2. Then you have a really good race and move to the bottom of Division 1, and I can imagine it's not quite so exciting to be competing for the bottom places on Division 1 as it might be for competing for the top places in Division 2. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to be able to publicise, as it were, what division you were assigned to. That depends on when I can get the information, and the complex with that is I've got to tie in Discord names to Just Race accounts, which I can do, but it's time consuming. And the easiest way for me to do that is to wait for you guys to sign up, because then I can see both your Discord name and your Just Race rating, all from the list of drivers that I have signed up to service. So that's probably what will happen. It'll either happen just before race 1, or when I'm processing the results of race 1, it will be done before that is processed. So I do apologise for that. I'm learning myself how best. Anyway, this stream's gone far too long. What have we had? 24 minutes of waffle. Well, there was 10 minutes of intro music. We'll leave that there. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. There were 6 of you at the end there tuned in. I really do appreciate that. And look forward to racing with you all on Wednesday. And if you haven't turned any practice laps, like myself, because I've been focusing on working out the AMS unofficial combo, that's going to be in round 2. It's a good one. BMW M1 Pro car at Kailami Historic. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get to round 2, we've got to have round 1. I haven't practiced, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on, hopefully, next week before we actually get to the Wednesday race. Have a good day, guys. Hope you appreciated the stream, and see you on track soon. Goodbye, goodbye.